Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our global community. First off, I just want to thank you for spending some time with us today. I know how precious time is, and I hope that we make your time here super valuable. Second thing is, I want to ensure that you guys and gals ask questions. So please, please, please use the question box, ask questions. We'll be compiling them and answering them in the background and sharing them at the end. And today we're going to talk about how to jumpstart your growth. A lot of the webinars we do, we bring in thought leaders who share their inspiration, education in and around the areas of promise of our products and services. And what we get a lot of is we want to know how to use Nimble better. So that's what we're doing here. We're talking about how to use Nimble to achieve your dreams in life. And who better to do that with us than Michaela? Michaela Underdahl has been a part of our team for some time. And one of the things I love about building a company is growing people. And when I first met Michaela, she was fresh off the boat, so to speak, and she has grown at Nimble, but most importantly, helped grow our community because ultimately we're building a family here. We're building a family of people that we're helping to grow, and you got to start by growing your team members. So, Michaela, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for the nice intro, John.
Oh, you're welcome, Michaela. Um, I think that we're on this planet to grow, and we do that best by helping other people grow. So that's my passion, plan, and purpose in life. And so when I get messages from you and people like Rachel who basically say that I blow into their sales, it makes my day. In fact, today we actually have in our audience uh, gold mine resellers like Rick Manningas so it's nice to see people from part of the family from so long ago. For those that don't know me, I'm a relationship guy. I learned it from my pops. He was a car dealer. He was the first Subaru dealership in Southern California. Also was the #1 Lincoln Mercury guy. And I promised I'd never be in sales. I wanted to be an astronaut. So I studied computer science and I modeled myself after my uncle who built radar and microwave. In fact, invented it at MIT. And I ended up in sales. And I built software to fix that. And ultimately, sales is really a relationship game, and we need tools to help us do that. And so I've been doing that kind of all my life. In fact, I just turned 60 2 days ago, and it's pretty amazing to be 60 times around the sun. So let's talk about CRMs and contact tools. What are they for? How do we use them? If you go back in time, the first contact platform was really the Rolodex, and after that, the Daytimer, and we struggled with managing those. And so I helped pioneer Outlook and Salesforce before either existed with Goldmine. And what was unique about Goldmine was it was a team relationship manager at its heart. And I think that that is the crux of all of our personal and business productivity is the contacts that we're connecting to, the conversations we're having, the activities that we drive. And today we do that with G Suite and Office, and they really stink as contact managers. And our CRMs aren't contact managers, they're more report managers. And that's why we built Nimble. And so the whole idea about Nimble is that the operating system of your business is Office 365 or G Suite, and they're not really great at contact platforms because they don't unify email, contact, and calendar, and they don't have a team contact platform. And so what we do is we automatically unify all that into a cohesive whole and then work back where you work. This is a screenshot of Nimble working inside of Office 365. It's a little confusing seeing all those Lego things there. We might want to change that screenshot so it isn't so colorful. But ultimately, what you see here on the right is Nimble working inside your inbox, because when you open up an email, one of the things that typically happens is you have to follow up and follow through. But most importantly, you need to know who this person is and what their business is about and the history of interactions that you and the team have had on email, calendar, and social. And then you need to basically do something about the email, reply back, schedule a task for a team member, etc. And you have to go to your CRM to do it. And that's why Nimble's so great with that. And Nimble doesn't just unify your contacts from your email. We unify them from all the siloed places that are in your business. Because today, every business has something. They have contact platform, G Suite or Office, And then they have some type of sales, marketing, customer service, or accounting, or all of the above. And each of those has a separate contact platform. And I think that's one of the reasons why there's 225 million global businesses and less than 1% use any CRM. Most people's CRM is their inbox or a spreadsheet. And what we're doing is unifying all those contacts from all those places. And even if you have a CRM, even if you use Salesforce or HubSpot or Pipedrive or whatever, Nimble can still work with you because we are the only platform that unifies all your contacts into a team relationship manager and then works back in those places. And I think it's one of the reasons why we've been recognized in the marketplace as one of the top-rated packages, and not just in the CRM marketplace, but also in sales intelligence and sales enablement email tracking. But we'll get to that. In fact, let's go ahead and just jump right into a little walkthrough of sort of the vision of Nimble. And so the idea behind Nimble is that we're a layer on top of your Office and G Suite. What does that mean? So when the first thing that I think Nimble does is it unifies those contacts, those communications, and those activities from G Suite and Office. And what we do is we unify it into a singular record here, where we automatically build the record of the background of the person and then synchronize every interaction that you and the team have, and then go and work back in the places that you work. So when I open up an email, I know who they are. I know the history of interactions that the team and I have had on email, calendar, and social. And most importantly, I can go ahead and then follow up and follow through by logging notes, scheduling tasks, or whatever. And I could do that not just in my email, but I could literally do it anywhere as I'm working. So if I'm sitting here and seeing that Christoph is talking to me or about me, I could easily bring up Christoph's record if Christoph is in Nimble. And if the person isn't in Nimble, then I can go ahead and automatically build a record for that person by hovering on the name, and Nimble will automatically go ahead and build a record for that person. And I could do that not just in social, but also in the other places that you work, such as LinkedIn or inside of a business app. So this happens to be our internal support and marketing program. And you can see that when I turn on Nimble, it knows where I'm at. It knows that I'm looking at a particular record, and it brings up that record. And we can even do it inside of the business apps that you're using. So if you happen to be using another CRM, or if you happen to be using another accounting program, Nimble can go ahead and do that, help you to work with those contacts literally anywhere as you work. And in fact, we could even do this when you're reading a business article. So if I'm reading a business article and I want to know who somebody is, I can literally highlight their name. Nimble will automatically go ahead and build a record for that person right there on the fly. And I think that's one of the key reasons why people love Nimble, is because we're the first CRM that works for you by building itself and then works with you everywhere you work. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Michaela, and let you take us away.
Sounds good. I'll take the screen. Okay, so John gave us a quick run through into what Nimble is, and also showed you some of the places where you can use Nimble. And I would like to step back a little bit, because I saw in the survey that a lot of you were new to Nimble. So I want to go through some of the basics, and then we'll go through the entire application. I'll also show you in details how you can install all these add-ins and browser extensions, so you can do everything that John was just doing on social media, in a third-party applications. And I will also give you a quick demo of our mobile application. So I'll be showing it on my iPhone, but it's almost identical on Android. So we cater to both iOS and Android users. So we'll start with details about onboarding. I'll go over how to connect your emails, calendars, how you can import contacts. I'll also cover how we can add team members into Nimble. Then we'll go through your daily workflow in Nimble. I'll go through every single tab in Nimble and share details about the most fun features. And then we'll mention the add-ons, and we'll do Q&A at the end. With that, let me go into Nimble. Go full screen here. So here we are. When you first look into Nimble, you will land on the Today page. But especially if you're new to Nimble, the Today page won't make too much sense unless you connect everything. So let's again step back and let's go into networks and settings. Every time you'll want to import any context into Nimble, or if you'll suspect that something might not be right, you can click on this circle in the top right corner, navigate to networks and imports. And this is where you can take care of everything. This is where you can connect your emails. If you are on Office 365, you are in luck because we have this amazing one button that will connect everything for you in literally a second. So for Office 365 users, you just click on the Office 365 button. What it will do, it will automatically connect your email, your Outlook. It will also allow you to import your Outlook contacts. It will connect your Outlook calendar, and it will also give you the ability to send group messages from Nimble. So that's pretty awesome. For those of you that have been with Nimble for a while, you may have had to connect through two-step verification. So if you're still connected via IMAP, you either don't have to do anything because it should work, or you could do the Office 365 one button connector and then disable the IMAP. But again, it should work. So you shouldn't have to do anything. For our G Suite Gmail users, connecting Gmail is also very easy. So you would just click connect email account, select Gmail. Again, it will only take a second and everything will be connected. So your Gmail will be connected. We will start syncing your messages. We will also allow you to send group messages from Nimble. And you can also connect your calendar here. So you can also connect a combination. If for some reason you are using both Outlook and Gmail like myself, you can connect both of them. Again, super easy, just one button connection here. If
But
you
can I point
yes,
something out here?
yes.
So I have multiple Gmail accounts and multiple G Suite accounts, and I have an Office 365 account, and I have some IMAP accounts. The cool thing is you can hook them all up to
Yep.
Nimble
Mm-hmm.
and then choose which ones you want to reply with.
Yeah. So if you are utilizing Twitter in your business, or if you're using Twitter to manage your personal brand, we have a direct integration with Twitter. So I would also recommend connecting that. We will also, from the moment that you connect your Twitter, we will also be attaching all the history of the communications and anything that happened on Twitter with your prospects and customers to their contact records. So when you open the contact record, you will know exactly when you talk to them, on what platform, what happened, and the next steps that need to happen. If you want to import any contacts from Twitter, I want to stop here because your number one goal in regards to importing contacts into Nimble or any database, any CRM, should be to make sure that the data is clean, because if it's not, it's very likely that you'll stop using it. So I do not recommend importing everybody from Twitter because not everybody that follows you needs to be in your CRM database. So this is why we give you the option to either bring in just friends, people you follow each other with, or people that you're following, or if you're active user of Twitter, you know that there's a feature called Twitter List, which really helps you to cut through the clutter on Twitter and really separate people in lists. And we also give you the option to import specific Twitter lists. So that ensures that you are only bringing the people that you really want to have in your CRM database into Nimble. In terms of importing contacts from other places, an easy way to do it, well, there are two main ways to do it. Both are very easy. So one way is to use our CSV import. This is what you can use, for instance, for importing contacts from your LinkedIn. LinkedIn gives you the option to download a list of your connections. It will be saved as a CSV file, and then you can simply select the file. And we have CSV import wizard that helps you map the fields. We also have saved mappings. So as you can see, we already know what CSV files from certain applications look like. So if you're importing from any of these, like from LinkedIn that we just mentioned, you could check this option, and then we would know what it should look like. So we would help you match the fields. So you don't have to do much manual entry. So in this case, it is a not LinkedIn import. So I will have to do some work. So as you can see, it already grabs the fields that are named the same. In case you just name one of the name fields name, we still give you the option to find the right field that you want to put it into. And in case there are some fields or some columns that you're bringing into Nimble from spreadsheets you have been using in your Nimble that don't exist in Nimble currently, we give you the option to create a custom field. So I have a column about the year when my customers purchased from me. I could click create new field. I could name it purchase date, select the tab onto which I want to edit, and then I select what type of the field I want it to be. So it could be a single line text, multi-line text, select box, or address. So in this case, I just want it to be a single line text. And I could do the same with the other ones. So importing from a CSV file, very easy. Another easy way is to use our integration with a company called PySync. PySync specializes in bidirectional data synchronization, and the setup we have with them allows our users to integrate with Nimble and almost 200 different SaaS applications. So you can either scroll down through this list and see if you are currently using any of these applications that you would want to be syncing contacts into Nimble from, or because there is a lot, you can just type it in. So if you're using MailChimp, you could test this integration. The way it works is that when you click on MailChimp, a pop-up window will pop up, and PySync will give you 14-day trial, during which you can bring all your contacts into Nimble for free. If after the 14 days you would want to keep the contacts in sync, and if you would be syncing less than 2,000 contacts per month per user, the integration remains free. And it works on if this, then that principle. So for instance, you could set up rules that if this contact gets created in MailChimp, then you would want Nimble to also create a contact record in Nimble and attach a specific tag. So that's PySync. It is also very easy, and I would want to reiterate the fact that during the free trial, you can bring in your contacts in for free, even if you don't intend to be keeping the contacts in sync. So that I think is a very great way to bring your contacts in, and sometimes easier than having to find out how you can export all your contacts, save them somewhere in a CSV file, and then import them. So definitely recommend checking out PySync.
So Michaela, can I interject here?
Yes.
So for the first 2 weeks, you have unlimited imports with PySync. After that, you can keep in sync 2,000 contacts per month. So my recommendation is to reinforce what you just said, is to map into all the places your contacts are and all the apps that they are, and unify them all into Nimble, properly tag in them that, these are for my accounting system, these are for my marketing system, etc.
Yes, and I would like to reinforce the fact that John just said that you should tag them. There are two ways in Nimble how you can organize your contacts. Probably the easiest way is to use tags, and definitely every time you're importing a bunch of people into Nimble, or if you just add them one by one, always apply a tag, because it's very useful to know why they're in there, how they got there, and if you're using Nimble as a team, I always recommend our users to, if the entire team is on Outlook, for instance, and if everybody will be importing their Outlook contacts, to always attach the name or initials of the person that created that, because tags are shared across the entire team. So in order for you to have everything nicely, neatly organized, in there and always know what the tags mean and who created them, it's always a great idea to come up with some sort of tagging structure, organization structure. And since we were talking about using Nimble as a team, for the account administrators, if you want to invite your team members, you would navigate to users. Then you would click add or remove licenses. You would tell Nimble how many licenses you want to add. Then you would just click on invite users, type in the email addresses of the people that you want to invite, send the invites. All the users would receive an email, and they would be able to set up their own instance of Nimble. So how Nimble with teams work. So as of now, all contacts across the entire team will be shared, which is really useful because you can really collaborate on anything basically. Because if somebody brings in a lead, then their manager or anybody in the company can see the contact record and be able to see exactly why the person is there, who brought them in, what the next steps are, and so on. In regards to syncing messages, so all messages are set on private by default. So when you go on a contact record in Nimble, you will be able to see that you can see the history of communications you've had with the person, but they would just be on your end. There is an option to unlock it. There would again be something you might want to think about prior to inviting your users and kind of creating like a guidelines of how to use the program with your team. So they could be either unlocked for all or locked for all, so then you would only be able to see the interactions you had with the specific contacts, or you could also unlock individual messages. And I'll also show you how it works. So when we're all set up, when we have our emails connected, our calendars connected, when we imported contacts into Nimble, the Today page will be much nicer now. So the idea behind the Today page, and we recently redesigned it, is for you to log into Nimble and know immediately what is it that you need to do that day, what's on your to-do list, and what are the most important people that you need to connect that day. The page is also completely customizable. So you can click on Manage Widgets, add or remove widgets, and go through this checklist and tell Nimble which ones you probably don't want to see. So this will really depend on the type of role you have in your company. If you're the business owner, if you're in sales, you might want to have all these open because you would definitely want to see what your funnel looks like. But if you're the personal assistant, if you're in marketing, maybe the sales related features will not be relevant to you, and you would just want to see what's on your calendar, how people are interacting with your messages, and what's on your to-do list. You can also easily drag and drop and move these widgets around, so you always have those that are most important to you on the top. When you're done, you close settings. So I want to go through them real fast, one by one. So we mentioned that you can connect multiple calendars to Nimble. So I can either select all calendars and have Nimble show me the mixture, or I can focus on a specific calendar. In tasks, I will be able to see my upcoming tasks, or those that are overdue, or any task that I may have delegated to somebody else on our team. In email tracking, this is where I'll be able to see how people are interacting with messages that I send either individually or any group messages. So in regards to email tracking from Nimble, so there is a tiny difference between our Gmail, G Suite, and Outlook users. For Outlook users, if you want to track individual messages, you will have to send the message from inside of Nimble. Our Gmail users, for now, they have the option to also send tracked messages from inside of the Gmail interface. Stay in touch reminder box. Very important.
Can I add an idea there for you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure in the prospector that you can send tracked emails, so you can theoretically send them while in G Suite or Office, but you just wouldn't be sending them through the Office UI like you can in the G Suite.
Right.
But we're going to be adding that capability in the future. But in the interim, if I'm inside of anywheres, I can send them Office 365 users. You can send check messages in mobile inside of the Nimble app itself or inside of the Nimble browser plugin.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you. In regards to the stay in touch widget, next to each of your contacts picture in Nimble, there will be a little clock, and the clock will give you the option to set up a stay in touch reminder. As you know, there's only a certain number of people that we can remember to stay in touch with. So that's why this feature is so useful, because you can even set up a custom reminder and then Nimble will remind you that it's time to follow up with them. In Stage Funnel, you will be able to see how much money is in each of your stages. We have a multiple deal pipeline in Nimble, so you can also select specific pipeline and take a look what they look like. You can also do just your deals or deals that are owned and opened by your entire team. You also have a pipeline chart and also one widget here that will show you all your deals. And you can see the active ones, those that have been won, lost, and then also focus on those that your team is working on. So again, the Today page, completely customizable. You can also upload your logo and change the cover. So these are nice, fun features. And let's go into the Contacts tab. So as you can see on the left side, you can see all your contacts that you have imported, or you can focus on just the people, just the companies, or we also have a mark as important feature. This feature may sound basic, but it's actually really useful because, again, it gives you the option to kind of separate the most important prospects and customers from the rest of your contacts and have them easily accessible on the main contacts page. So the way you do it is you just mark this little star and then they will be marked as VIPs. You can also see those contacts that you have recently viewed, added, recently contacted, or that you set up the stay in touch reminder for. We also recently added this useful remove contacts box. So that's very useful for everybody that ever deleted something that they didn't really mean to delete. So you can always recover it here. And the account admin will be able to set the number of days that the deleted contacts will stay here and will be available for recovery. And let's find, or I'll actually select John here, and I want to talk about what the contact record looks like in Nimble. So as you can see on the left side, you see the basic information, their first name, last name, their title, the company they work for. You can mark them as important. You can set up a stay in touch reminder. So I did a custom period. So I want to stay in touch with John every 7 days, at least. I can also see his contact information here. These are all the tags that I have on him. So see, I mentioned marking the specific imports. So for LinkedIn, I used my name. So I can kind of review how myself or our team tag the person. So I see that John is a speaker. He's also our VIP. He's also a CEO. So these tags can also be used for segmenting your database. So we'll cover that just in a little bit. We also have this lead fields box, which will help you to easily qualify your leads. You can completely customize the individual fields that you see here. So whatever the lead sources for your company are, you can completely customize it. You can choose the lead type as well, and the owner. That's also something that we have recently added. And on the right side, this is where
Can I add a little something here, Michaela?
Yes.
In regards to the record owner, it's part of our CRM Basics Nimble 5.0. You will be seeing shortly not just record owner, but also record type. So today, all contacts are just contacts. In the future, you'll have contact type, which is a lead versus an account. so that you can then differentiate leads versus contacts that are not leads or closed leads or whatever. And in addition to that, you'll have privacy. So basically, record owner, lead type, or not lead type, but lead versus account, and privacy are forthcoming.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of our customers ask about. So thanks for bringing it up. On the right side, on the contact record, under interactions, this is where you'll see everything that has been done with the person and everything that is scheduled to happen. So we have several tabs here. You can either scroll through everything under the all tabs, but as you can see, I in contact with John a lot, so this can become a little messy. So I might want to select to just focus on a certain activity. So that's why we created this drop-down menu. So I just want to see all the deals that are related to John, or if I wanted to see all the sales calls or just my to-dos in relation to John, I can easily find them here. Or I can just look at the notes. Or if I'm interested in going through the history of my conversation with John, I can do it in the message tab under deals. Again, I'll be able to see all the active deals or the past deals in relation to John. Under data fields, you'll be able to see the information about the person, and you'll be able to quickly edit anything. We have this inline editing. There was part of our Nimble 5.0 update, so it makes it a little easier for you than we used to have it to change any information. Under company information, you will also be able to see the information about the person's company. And sorry for jumping back and forth here. So under here, at the beginning, I mentioned 2 ways of organization of contacts. One was using tags. The other one is using custom fields. So you have the option to create up to 5 custom tabs in Nimble, and then as many as you want of individual fields. So this tab programs, that's something that I created that didn't exist in Nimble when I signed up. So you can literally recreate any spreadsheet that you are using in Nimble. And then again, you can segment on any of these fields. So depending on what it is, in my case, I'm managing the influencer program and the relationships with press at Nimble. So I want to log in information such as the focus of the journalist. What is the publication they write for, or have they written about Nimble in the past? And if so, I would want to add URLs of the individual articles, and they would also be hyperlinked. So using custom fields is another great way of organizing contacts in Nimble, and it's also very easy to set up. You can also use our social tab here. This is where you'll be able to see a little preview into the social footprint of the person. Nimble also gives you the ability to attach files from Microsoft OneDrive, Google Drive, and Dropbox. When you click on these 3 little dots on the contact record, will also help you find and merge duplicates. So in case there are any duplicates, they would show up here, and you would be able to select those that you want to merge with the existing contacts. And let's cover the segmentation that I mentioned multiple times today already. This is one of my absolute favorite features in Nimble. You can launch it by doing 2 things. Either clicking here on adding segment, or you can simply click into this search box on the top bar. And when it pops up, you can see that there are already some filters pre-selected for you. These are just some of the filters you can use in Nimble. So when you click here on the left side on add filter, this is where you can select from any existing field in Nimble, including any custom fields. So I can literally create a segmented list about anything. So I was talking about managing the program, so I could find out the custom tab that I created. I could find all the contacts that I am responsible for. I could further refine the search by just the people that I have emails for. So I could do email is not empty, or I could also do last contacted less than 30 days ago. Or I could also use it to come up with a list of people that have more than 50,000 followers, people that have birthdays in January, so I can make sure that I set up a reminder to wish them a happy birthday, or I can call them or write on their LinkedIn or Twitter page. When you create the list, there's several things you can do with them. One thing is to create a saved segment. So when you create the saved segment, the good thing about it is that it will be dynamic. So every time a new contact record is added to Nimble and they measure the criteria, they will be automatically added to the segment. So I can name this CEOs in Santa Monica, for instance. I can save it. It will show on my main contacts page here. If you want to edit it at any point, you just click here on edit segment. If, for instance, you are creating a list of all your customers that are based in California and purchased any of your products last year, and the products will be the same when creating the segmented list, but you want to change the you want to be changing the location. So maybe you'll be creating safe segments for California and then Texas and other places. You can always, instead of recreating the entire thing, you can always create a segment, and then you would just be able to change any of the fields here. So that will save you time. Another thing you can do with them is that you can select everybody on this list and you can send them a group message. So the great thing about the group messaging in Nimble is that it's actually sent via your email provider. So if you're using Office 365 or Gmail, it will be sent from your Outlook and your Gmail. So nobody on the list will know they're a part of a group outreach. So if you use it in a conjunction with our segmentation, it will really help you to achieve amazing open rates, because when you really create a smaller groups of people that then you can use the message to customize it for, people will really think that you took the time to, email them one-on-one. As John mentioned, in regards to the ability to connect multiple emails to Nimble, you can always pick from which email you want to email people. You can also add a merge tag. So then Nimble would automatically grab the first name of all the people here. You can also attach files, add an unsubscribe link. We have some basic formatting here. And you can also, if you create a message that you feel like you would want to reuse in the future, you can also save it as a segment or save it as a template. I'm sorry. Or you can use any previously saved template. For our Gmail users, they can also use these segments in Gmail. Before sending any group message, I recommend sending yourself a test message to make sure that everything looks good, there are no typos. If you include a link, that the link works. And once you save the message, when you go back to group messages here, you will be able to see the insights on the clicks and opens. So we'll tell you when was the last time there was any activity on the message, when was the last time the person opened, how many times they opened, and if you include a link and they click it, we'll also tell you how many times they clicked on it. So then you'll be armed with the ability to even do quick follow-up. So you could select all the people that open more than twice and send them another possibly templated message. We also get a question almost every time if the group messaging would potentially replace MailChimp or Constant Contact. And the easy answer is no, because we didn't really create the feature to blast a bunch of people. Also, the limits are set much lower because you're sending it through your email provider. We don't want you to get flagged as a spammer and get locked out of your email. And also, we really want you to use it to carefully segment the list of people you're outreaching to, because that's how you could achieve the best results. So by default, when you sign up for Nimble, will allow you to send up to 100 messages per day per user, and then it will reset at midnight. And you can also purchase upgrades up to 300. So that's group messaging. Let's go into activities. I wanted to talk about activities listing. So this feature is really useful for creating to-do lists, also for the managers to be able to kind of report on, for instance, how many calls a certain salesperson made during certain periods. So you can select the time frame here. You can also select the type of activity. So in this case, we're only focusing on calls. And then you would be able to see the information about the call, who they called, how long the call lasted, who performed the call, and any other information. So the information you're seeing here, you can also change it in here. So you would click on Configure Table. You can mark those fields that you want to include and also deselect those that are maybe not so relevant for the type of search you're creating. You can also drag and drop them, and then you can pin those that you always want to be able to see in the front. You can also export the activities, and of course play with the filters here. You can also save the filters for future. In deals, I already mentioned that Nimble allows you to create as many deal pipelines as you want. So if you have several divisions in your company, or if you're selling multiple products, or if you'd like to see if you can use the pipelines for project management, you can go to Customize Pipelines. Either create a completely new pipeline, or you can customize the one that was added to Nimble by default. So you could change the name of it. You could completely rename the names of the individual deals. You can also set the number of days that you allow each deal to stay in each stage. After they go over, they will turn red, and they will kind of be getting on your nerves. So you know that you have to move them forward. You can drag and drop here as well, or you can always just delete the stage you feel like you might not need anymore, or you can add stages here. So let's go back. This is what the pipeline looks like. You can always easily drag and drop. When you go on here, you'll be able to see all the information about the deal. So you can also see all the messages that have been exchanged between the people that are working on the specific sales opportunity, all the activities. You'll be able to see the individual to-dos, calendar events, or calls. You can add notes here and also add attachments. Creating deals is also super easy. You would create the deal name. You could set up the probability, the primary contact, and you can also add as many as you want participants. So if there's multiple people working on this deal, you can all add them here. You can add the amount, expected close date. You can assign it to yourself or anybody else on your team, and you can set the deal privacy. So deals can either be private or they can be public and viewable by the entire team, but only viewable and not editable. Or you can allow your team to see them and also make changes to them. We also have some reporting in Nimble, so you can create reports on all your pipelines or any individual pipeline here. You can create a report for your entire team or specific salespeople. We help you to create reports for this week, last week, this month, so on. Or you can select a specific date. You can also print it or save it as a PDF file, so then you can export it, save it, print it, or use it in the meeting. So let me now move out of Nimble and show you how you can use our Nimble Prospector, which is a browser add-in that will work on all the main browsers. It's available on Chrome, it's available on Firefox and Microsoft Edge. We're currently fixing it for Safari, so soon it will be again available everywhere. And the way it works is that it literally allows you to use Nimble outside of Nimble. So when you're on LinkedIn and you're talking to somebody, and let's say you want to add them to Nimble and set up a meeting, instead of having to open another tab, log in, create a contact record, manually type in all the information, you can just click on the Nimble add-in here, hover over the person you're talking to in LinkedIn or anywhere else. If we already have him in Nimble, then we'll surface the existing contact record. Then you can then edit, or you can mark the contact as important. You can set up a stay in touch reminder. You can create notes, log any activity that happened in the past, or you can schedule any future one. So if it's a call, if you want to put it on your calendar, you can do it straight from here, and calendar invitations will be sent without you having to leave the place where you're currently working, so you don't have to interrupt your workflow. You can also send a message from here. So this is what John was mentioning, that even though our Outlook users can't send it from the Outlook interface, they can use our add-ons and our browser extensions. So you can select from which email you want to email the person, and you can check that you want to track it, and then they will not know that you were sending it from an extension. It is just a regular email. In Nimble, you can also save your signature, so it will be automatically attached to all the emails that you might be sending from all these various different places that Nimble allows you to send emails from. You can also create a deal straight from here. You can put it on the appropriate pipeline onto the appropriate stage. You can also see all the information that you have about the person. You can qualify the lead straight from here, preview their summary, their experience, their bio. You can also quickly see the history you've had with this person. When was the last time you talked to them, or when are you next scheduled to talk to them, and so on. So this is how it works in LinkedIn. It will work the same in Twitter, Facebook, literally anywhere, or any company website. So here I am on our company website. I can bring up Nimble here. It had a weird picture, so I was able to change it. So it knows that I'm on Nimble. It helped me create the contact record. So I can access all the company insights, all the history of communications I've had with this company, and so on. I can also easily create lists with this extension. So probably most of us sometimes have to create some sort of a prospect list or a list of influencers. So here I am on Social Media Examiner's website. They publish a list of all the speakers that will be speaking at their conference. So I can just hover over their names, and Nimble will help me create contact records for them very fast. So Jay, I already had in Nimble. Michael, I don't have. So this is how fast Nimble helps me to build the contact record. And I could also apply a tag to all of them and put them to Nimble. John already covered how you can use our extensions inside of Gmail and Outlook, and I see that we're running out of time, so I won't spend more time on that. But I want to go back on this page on nimble.com/widget. This is where you can install Nimble Prospector. It will know on what browser you're on. So it will help you install it, and then you will be able to use it on any external website, any third-party application. You can also install it into your Outlook. If you're using Chrome, then once you install the browser plugin, it will automatically plug into your Gmail. and help you create contact records from Gmail, just like that. In Outlook, in my version of Outlook, which is the web version of Outlook for Mac, I could add contacts like this. The one difference between the web version of Outlook and the desktop version is that the desktop version has this nice little Nimble plugin, and in the web version, I have to click on these 3 dots and scroll down and find it. But when we go back to nimble.com/widget, once you click on here, it should plug into both places if you're using both the desktop version and the web version, or you can install it from inside of your Outlook. And let's jump into the mobile overview. So here I am in the mobile app on iPhone, but again, you can also download it for your Android. So I can see my agenda, what's on my calendar for the day. And
So
when
Michaela, can you reinforce that you're sharing your mobile screen right now as an overlay on top of the browser window, so everything you see is your mobile?
Yes, this is mobile, moving it around. Again, I'm on iPhone right now. So in the agenda app, I'll be able to quickly see who am I meeting with. So when I'm out and about and I want to get updated on the person I'm meeting with, if I want to learn a little more about the history of our relationship and so on, I can quickly preview their contact record on Nimble. I can see all the tags, their experience, bio, where they're located. I can also see anything that may be pending, any calls, any meetings, a history of our interaction. I could also call them straight from here. And as you can see, when I dial the phone, when I dial the call, and after I finish, this nice pop-up window shows up, and it will help me log any information about the call, so I don't forget what was done, and I can also quickly create the next step. So I'm always up to date on what the next steps are, and most importantly, I'm not forgetting to do what I promised to do. So that's the agenda. I can quickly see all my tasks, or my upcoming tasks, completed ones, those that I marked as important, or any of those that I may have delegated. In the main contacts tab, you can also search for specific contacts. You can use any of our filters here, so you can also access your saved searches, all your tags. So you can finding contacts when you're on the go is really easy in Nimble. Additionally, you can use our business card scanner. So again, when you're out and about, you can just take a picture of a business card. Nimble will create a contact record for you and give you the option to set up the next steps. You can also access all your pipeline deals, create new deals when you're on the go, assign them to any of your team members, and so on. So I know this was fast, but we're running out of time, but we will send the recording to everybody. And if you have any questions, please let us know, and we will make sure to answer all of them. I also want to point out our new website, nimble.com/company/webinars. This is where you can go to check out all our training webinars. We have daily Q&A sessions, and we also host weekly training webinars. So if you're interested in getting more educated about any specific features, you can go there and register for those at the most convenient time for you. We also have a special offer for new users that attended today's webinar. If you think that Nimble is the right CRM for you, feel free to go on nimble.com/offer/webinar30 and sign up for a 30-day trial. And on top of that, John's also offering a special deal for our new users. So on top of the 30-day trial, you can also get 3 months of Nimble for 40% off when you use the code John40. So that's a really good deal. So take advantage of it. If you have any questions, you can email us at care@nimble.com. And for all of you, we also created a onboarding checklist, so you can download it, and we'll also be sharing all these links and all this information in the follow-up email. that we'll be sending in the next few hours. And now let's go through the questions.
So, Michaela, first off, thank you so much for sharing all that wisdom. There was a lot of really great feedback from the people attending that basically said that this was really awesome and valuable for them. So I think that we should definitely do this regularly. I know that you do a weekly
Yep.
webinar of getting started with Nimble, and you do those on Wednesdays, right?
Correct.
Okay, and you
10
share the
a.m. Pacific.
Yep. Okay. So now's the time to get your questions in the Q&A section. I'm just going to rattle through the questions that I have seen here. So Anthony had a question about multiple email addresses and calendars. Love to sync them all, and I think we covered that. That yes, you can sync multiple emails and calendars. There's a question from Jen. Can you connect more than one Twitter account? I forget whether we support more than one Twitter. Do you remember, Michaela?
Only one for now.
Okay, so only one for now. The question from John, is there a difference between Nimble integration with Office 365 personal and business? Not that I know of. I think it's all the same, right, Michaela?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Question from Robert, is Nimble Power connected to Power Automate? So Microsoft has something called Power Automate, Power BI, and Power Apps. These are tools to do workflow automation, visualization and reporting, and net new custom screens. This is part of the Office 365 stack, and we are an Azure-based platform, and we'll be rolling out integrations with Power BI, Power Automate, and Power Apps in addition to common data services this year. Michael asked, on your website, Outlook shows deprecated. So Michaela showed the Outlook add-in for desktop, and it's not deprecated. If you add the Nimble add-in for Office 365 in either the Outlook desktop store, the Office 365 store, or the Outlook mobile store, it'll automatically add it in all those places for you. So if you use Nimble at Outlook mobile, Outlook desktop, or Office 365, add it in one place and it's added to all. And Michael, if you can find where we show it deprecated, send us that link because I'd like to check that text out.
Care@nimble.com. And if you're struggling with connecting your Outlook, care@nimble.com, and we'll help you out.
Another question, is it possible to see a tally of all winning bids? And I think the answer to that is there is a report that shows deals won or closed by rep or by all reps. What's the best way to handle contract renewal at 36 months in the future? Michaela, you have an answer for that? In other words, a reminder at 33 months. So you sell a deal that's a 3-year deal, and it's going to expire at the end of 3 years. So 33 months later, you want to have a reminder. So I think that you can set a stay in touch reminder for that period of time. The other thing is you would want to potentially use custom fields. The deal with custom fields is that right now they're all string fields, but we are rolling out data type fields so that you could put a contract date and then do a segment based off of date. But I think the easiest thing is the stay in touch reminder.
I think so, yeah. I don't know what the limit here is. Let's just do 200 days.
So while you do that, I'm going to keep doing the questions.
Yeah,
what's that?
I'm just saying that it should work. I'm not sure what the limit is, but let's see if I can do like.
Okay, so where does the call detail come from in calls? It's manual entry. Can you create a calendar feed from activities so it displays in Google Cal? Any calendar thing that you create in Nimble or any calendar thing that you create in Google Cal is automatically synced in either place. So it doesn't matter where you create your calendar activities or where you send your emails in Office 365, G Suite, or Gmail, it's automatically synced. So send emails from Office, send them from Gmail, send them from G Suite, send them from Nimble, add your calendar thing in any place, it's automatically synced in all places. If you're keeping a lot of activities and tasks and calls and timestamps associated, okay, that's the same question. Chuck Royer, John, welcome to the 60-year club. Thank you, buddy. Love being your friend. Glenn Stewart, when a deal closes, how do you close it out? There's an option on a deal to basically close it, and you can close it as a win or a loss. Can you track dead records to ensure they're not re-entered? I'm not sure what that means. So you'll need to give us more detail, Michael. Is there another webinar that walks through integrations like PySync, MailChimp, external web pages? I don't think we have specific things on external web pages in MailChimp, but we do have one on PySync. Jen Cockton, Michaela will send you a link. George, can you sync old Office 365 messages and contacts? The answer is currently we go back 3 months and then keep all messages in sync. We're going to soon give you an option to historically go back and get all. As far as contacts, when you import your contacts, it imports all contacts. So the answer contacts is yes. Richard says, can you report contacts and companies created? There is a thing called creation date, and I think you can segment on creation date. So you could create a quote report, which would be a contact listing of contacts created within a certain period of time. And Michael says, one's dead, others think info from another source is a new record when it's not. I'm still not quite sure what you mean by that, Michael. When will the lead versus account sorting be available? We're actually building that right now, so it should be in the next couple months. Can you sort by company to see all contacts or deals from them? You can filter on a company and then sort. I think what you're basically saying, you want to see all contacts created for a company. Yes, you can. For deals, I'm not sure. We'll have to drill into that, George. Emails are slow to be entered in Nimble, but they are in Outlook. What does that mean? Michaela, you have any idea?
Maybe Glenn's having some lagging issues. So please email us at care@nimble.com so we can look into it.
I think what he's saying is that if he creates an email in Office 365, there's a time cycle between when Nimble will read that, because we do sync it from their servers, but I'm not sure what the cycle time on that is. So I think that might be a question for the success team or for the engineering team. But here's the deal. Our integrations with Office are through the Office 365 API, so that should be syncing based off whatever the API delivers to us. Our integrations with G Suite are, I think, currently IMAP. We're switching to the G Suite API specifically. I'm not sure if that's done yet, but we will get back to you, Glenn, with the time cycles of email. What's the expectation of when I do an email, when the sync, it should show up in a contact record. And I guess that's it. Michaela, once again, thank you so much. There was one thing. Somebody wanted to see Nimble in social. So why don't you give me the screen so that I can basically show them that. And I appreciate everybody who stayed on so far towards the, all this time past the hour. So here's the deal. In the old version of Nimble, back in the day, we had access to all the APIs, including LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Crunchbase, Foursquare, blah, 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 blah. And since then, the APIs have begun to be sort of shut down for various reasons. So Nimble still has the integrations for signals and contacts from Twitter, but we can't import Facebook contacts anymore. We can't import LinkedIn contacts directly anymore. We can't do Facebook or LinkedIn messages. In fact, nobody can. But this is the workaround. So if I am in Facebook and I want to use Nimble in Facebook, I could easily use Nimble in Facebook. And I'm just looking for a person. So if I wanted to basically engage with Jack here, all I do is I hover on Jack's name and Nimble will come up and basically bring up the record or build the record for Jack, and enable me to then see the history of interactions, Jack's background, to be able to follow up and follow through. Because if I'm going to engage with Jack, I need to know who he is, and then I need to be able to then know the history of interactions and then to follow up. Also, I like to network off other people's network, so I might possibly network off of the people that Jack talks to. Or might be additional people that I might want to talk to. Maybe not Tyler though, Jack. But so that's interacting in the stream, but I also use it when I'm engaging with people. So if somebody wants to engage with me, I can decide if this is somebody that I actually want to engage with. And so I could determine if this is somebody that I want to engage with. So clearly, I don't have any history with Janet, but basically, when I want to consider connecting with somebody, I could interact here, and basically, then Nimble is able to essentially be used in all the places that I engage. Another example is I could use it inside of the messaging inside LinkedIn. So basically, Nimble works with me in all the places that I'm engaging. And that's the way you bring Nimble with you wherever you're working. And then if I want to add a record from any of these places, like we showed you before, you just hover on the name or on the link of the person, and Nimble will then go ahead and build the record for that person or bring up the record for that person automatically. So that's basically the way that Nimble works in social everywhere you work. And with that, Michaela, close us out with some parting words.
Thank you so much for everybody, like John mentioned, for staying over time. If you have any feedback, please share it in the survey that should be popping up on your screen as we finish the session. And again, if you have any questions about anything, need help with anything, we are always available at care@nimble.com. So feel free to send us an email. So again, thank you so much for joining us today and have a great weekend.
Thank you.